What's up, guys? Sanjay Shenoy here from Team Pixel Track, and welcome to this brand new video in content marketing mastery. So, this video is going to be the first video in the content marketing part of this particular course. All these videos that you have watched till now is all about the writing or the creation part of the content marketing ecosphere. So, what you need to do right now before entering into this journey of marketing your content, you need to make sure that you've written at least one piece of content based on what has been taught in the previous lessons. So go back and go through all the lessons if you have to, and make sure that you have applied all of these things to create that content. Because number one, it's very easy to just watch all of these videos and not take action on it. Number two, what happens is when you take action, you realize in a certain way where you're missing out on. You can probably make like a feedback system where we peer review each other's work and give each other's constructive feedback also. That's another thing. But you yourself personally can realize where you're missing out on, where are the gaps in your content creation, and how you can fix it. Now, why is this important? Because if you create good content, half the battle is already won. Because once you create this amazing content which people really want, where you're actually solving people's problems, you just needed to give it that much of a nudge for it to take a life of its own. Now, on top of it, if you add all of these things that we will be learning in the content marketing part of it, then it is going to be even more, probably 10x more impactful and successful than it would be otherwise. So focus on creating good content and learn how to create good content. Of course, it's got a learning curve, because if you don't create good content, then no matter how much you try to market, it is not going to work for you. I'm telling you right now, you're going to fall flat on your face, because people don't want to consume mediocre content. People don't want to consume content which is not about them, which does not solve their problems. There's plenty of fluff content already out there. So don't make it about yourself. Make it about the audience, solve their problems, and ensure that you master this content creation part. There is a long learning curve for it. And be ready to go through that learning curve. And eventually the content marketing part of it is actually the easier part. But also it is the tedious part of the whole journey. You need to do a lot of repetitive stuff, which we'll be talking about. But anyway, this can be learned very easily, not the first part. The first part you need to learn yourself. So go down and try to work as much as possible, create as much content as possible, and that's the only way you can become a better content creator. There is no shortcuts for it. There is no other way where you can become a better content creator. Having said that, let's start off our content marketing journey right now. And for that, we'll be starting with this video in which I'll be talking about mapping your customer journey. What we'll be learning in this video? Let's find out. In this video, we'll be talking about the funnel, and we'll be understanding what is a funnel, and we'll also be understanding what are the different types of content for each stage of the funnel, and what are the different channels where your content will be effective, which you're addressing to the funnel. So this is very crucial, because this is again a little bit theoretical, but conceptually you need to understand this. The moment you understand your customer journey, you can easily address all the problems you'll have during the entire journey. So let's find out. So before we proceed any further, it's important for you to understand what a funnel is. Now, you might have heard this particular word being used in every marketing circles, wherever you go, or maybe not also. But even if you haven't, please pay attention now, because if you understand the funnel, if you understand how you can engineer this and guide your customers through it, then nothing like it. That is when you're truly mastered marketing. That is when you truly understand your customer. So what is a funnel? Now, a funnel, to put it in very simple terms, is the journey your customer is going to take from being a nobody to your customer, right? That is the most simplest way to put it. If you had to plot the journey of your customer, what are the different stages would he have like crossed until he becomes a customer? Imagine yourself in that particular situation. Now, if you were to say you were to buy a phone, what are the steps that you are going to take to buy that phone? You will go through various steps, right? So, you will first need to be aware of your problem, which is that you need a phone. Then you need to be aware of the solution, which is you need to buy a phone or replace a phone. And now you need to like figure out which phone to buy, where you're considering all of these things, and depending on a lot of factors you will then go ahead and buy this, right? So this is the most simplest example I can give you. You were at a point where you didn't need that phone, and you reached the point where you bought that phone, right? So the journey between this point where you didn't need the phone to the point where you bought the phone, that journey is basically the funnel. Now, I will show you the representation figuratively. Now, this is how you can represent the funnel, like top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. So, this is something that you will keep hearing or keep seeing most of the time. Now, what is the top of the funnel? What's happening in the middle of the funnel? What is happening at the bottom of the funnel? Let's figure out. So, at the top of the funnel, what you are doing is you're creating awareness. And some of those people where you have created awareness will go into the consideration stage. And some of those people who are in the consideration stage will actually go into the transaction stage. Now, what you are doing with content is you're making them move down the funnel, all the way from awareness to transaction. I'll repeat. What you're trying to do is you are using content to move that person through the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. Now, how do you do this? What are the things that you need to do? So, let's get into that in a little bit, but you need to understand it conceptually, you need to understand it theoretically for you to actually visualize all of these things and actually put these things into place. Now, when I say awareness, what you need to understand it at this stage, your job through content is to make your customer aware of the problem and then aware of the solution, right? So you need to make your customer aware of the problem first, because that is when he acknowledges that yes, I have this problem, so that you build that common platform for you to communicate on. So once you create it, once he acknowledges that he has that problem, then you have to make him aware of a solution. Now, then he'll automatically move into the next stage where he knows that there is a solution, but he wants to figure out if there are better solutions out there. Now, your job when he's in the consideration stage is to use content to prove that your solution is the best solution out there. Now, once you have proved and demonstrated that your solution is the best solution, he will proceed to transact. Again, during the transaction stage, there might be multiple obstacles that might come through. Now, your job again is to use content to ensure that all of these obstacles are taken care of and he actually goes ahead and transacts. Basically, you need to get him to act. ACT. Make him aware, make him consider, make him transact. You need to get him to act. And using content, you can make him go through this entire thing. Now, what you're doing with content is you're engineering this journey. You are intentionally guiding that person from awareness to the transaction stage. And what you might, what the most important part here is that you need to understand that you have to do this sequentially. Depending on where that person enters, imagine that a person enters at the top of the funnel. Now you need to sequentially start talking about creating awareness, consideration, and transaction. If he's coming on the top of the funnel, you cannot start with consideration. That's what a lot of people do. In fact, what a lot of people do is they start already talking about the transaction part. As soon as he enters the funnel, they're talking about the transaction part. That is something you shouldn't do, because the more he flows through the funnel, the more trust he's building with your brand, the more confidence he has in making that transaction happen. So always remember, use sequential content to make them go through the entire funnel. Now, at each stage of the funnel, you need to know what is the motivation of your audience. What is the motivation of your audience at each level of each stage of the funnel, and you need to just present that content which addresses that motivation or addresses that problem. As simple as that. Then you guide him through the entire funnel. Now, I will take you to a Google Sheet which you also can download from this particular. You'll find it below. I have for every stage of the funnel, what are the different kinds of content you can create and what are the different channels where this content will be effective on. If you found this a little too complicated, just go back and watch the entire video again and then we can proceed. Let me quickly jump into my Chrome browser. So I have made this Google Sheet which you can also use as a reference point, and I have written what are the different kinds of content you can create for each stage of the funnel. Now on the first column you can see that I have written tofu, mofu and bofu. So this is basically means top of the funnel, middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel. Now let's go one by one. Okay, so these are the content assets that you can create. So what are the things that you can create at the top of the funnel to generate awareness? You can create articles, you can create blog posts. In the next video, we'll get into what kind of content you can create to create the awareness. But what are the different content assets you can have? Let's talk only about that for this particular video. What are the different content assets you can create? You can create articles, you can create blog posts, infographics, images, presentations, landing pages, curated content, all of these things. Now, what are you trying to do here at the top of the top of the funnel content? You are trying to attract the attention. You are trying to attract the attention of the user using this particular content. You have to attract it towards your content by saying that, hey, I have a solution. Your problem, you're not the only one facing this problem, and I might have a great solution for you. Now, once you create or attract that attention at the top of the funnel, doing all of these things, just go through all of these things, and you might notice that we also do all of these things. Most of these things we do, which is top of the funnel. This is what attracts your audience. Now, once you have attracted the attention of your audience, now you need to keep that attention. Otherwise, you're lost. Which is why every part of the funnel is so important. If you don't retain that attention that you have attracted, then it will be very difficult for you to actually make them transact eventually, right? So once you have attracted the attention, what are you going to do? You are going to give them middle of the funnel content in the form of a checklist, research report, kit bundle, guide, online course, resource library, newsletters, automated emails, email course itself. So what you're doing here is you're getting him to do a very small level transaction, which is you're saying that, hey, either give me your phone number or your email address and I will deliver you more content. At this time, your audience trust level is not very high, which is why the only thing that he can barter with you is his information, which doesn't cost him much. So he gives away your email address. In return, you are giving him this content. What you need to do here at this stage is that you need to create value. At every stage, you should create value. Not at all. I'm not saying that you should not create value at every stage, but you should create immense value at this stage, because what you need to prove here is that if I can give you this kind of information for free, or if I can add so much value without expecting anything from you, imagine what I can do if you were to give me something in return. That is what the mentality you're trying to instill in that user or that audience. So these are the different kinds of middle of the funnel content that you can be creating in exchange for their email address. This is how you retain the attention. Now, once you have retained the attention, you need to slowly nurture that attention in getting them to transact. You need to slowly do it. You need to do it over a period of time, because a lot of people do not. So what happens is a lot of people think that people go from the top of the funnel to bottom of the funnel in one stretch. Do you do that yourself? You don't, right? There is a cycle. The sales cycle can be anywhere from 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, 60 days, depending on so many various factors, right? Now, imagine yourself in that shoe. So, what you need to do is that you need to understand how long this journey might take, number one, and how can you put in content at different stages to ensure that the transaction happens. Now, once you've given value in the middle of the funnel using your content, now you start nurturing his attention. You start adding more and more value, and you get him to try your product out. Now you can do that by using demos, mobile apps, WordPress plugin, extension, workshop, testimonials, which creates social proof. You can do conferences, you can do free trial, discount coupons. You can do a comparison with your product and other products. You can do webinars demonstrating your product, live streams, online courses, so many things you can do to ensure that he gets to that transaction stage. Now you might be wondering, why is like a demo any kind of a content? Any kind of information put in the right context can be content. See, these are all the different kinds of content you can create. Just go through the list. There are 56 different types you can do. Right? So these are all the different types of content you can create, and sometimes these are all the different types of content you have to create for that person to go from top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. So always remember this journey, understand this journey. The more you understand this, the better it is for you to create content for these different stages. Now here on these three columns, what I have done is I have written down where this particular content asset can be very effective on. I have divided it into inbound, outbound, and email. Inbound is your SEO, your YouTube, your referral sites, and all of that. Outbound is where you're reaching to your audience yourself, your social media, your FB ads, Insta ads, and all of that. Email, basically you create this content to nurture this attention that you have captured. That's what we spoke about, right? So articles and blog posts can be used for pretty much everywhere. So you can use it for SEO, you can boost that post, you can send it across in an email, you can do whatever you want with that. So very versatile. So exactly like this, if I marked it green, it means that it can be used for all of these things. And if there is white, it means that it really can't be used very effectively across all of these things. So go through this entire list and you'll understand where you can use what kind of content and how you can add value, and how you can sequentially create this content to make that person move from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. Now, if you understand this really, really well, you have understood marketing, let alone content marketing. If you understand the journey that your customer is taking to get to your product, to get to your offering, to get to your service, and create content which supports this journey of his, that's all you need to do. And during this journey, while you have created this content, you are building trust and he is building trust with you. And by the end of it, the trust will be at the highest, and that's when you need to create content in the form of testimonials to create more social proof, to create giveaway discount coupons and all of them to get him to transact. Make sense? So please go through this video if you have to again, because this is super important. I know this sounds like a theoretical video, but it is supposed to be a theoretical video because it is so important. You need to understand this conceptually. You can apply this particular concept in every aspect of marketing, in fact, every aspect of life for that matter. So go through it again and let me know what you think about this video. If you have any questions, if you want me to clear any doubts that you might have about this video, you can either post it in the comment section below or send me an email at sanjay@pixeltrack.in. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.